start generally with this. If you want, you can do, or you don't want, you can don't. Hello. Hello, Neha. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
I am good. Let's start this video with introduction of video, then introduction of yours. Hello, friends. This is Saurabh, and we have Neha with us. Neha is my friend from Ireland. Hello, Neha. And she is doing PhD in UCD. We will be having discussions around PhD in Ireland, why she chose PhD, Ireland for PhD, what are her job opportunities, and basic details about PhD around the PhD and related things. Let's start with the introduction of Neha. Neha, can you introduce yourself to our guests?
Yeah, of course. Hi. Hi, everyone. So my name is Neha Kamrani. I've just finished my PhD from UCD. Before coming, and I'm working now. I'm working in education administration. So I've gone away from teaching. So I was teaching for a few years in UCD. Like I taught for 3 years while doing my PhD. And then I just didn't want to continue in the teaching industry. So that's why I shifted, but I'm still in the education industry. Before coming to Ireland, I did my master's in MPhil from JNU, New Delhi. I am from New Delhi, uh,
Oh,
born and brought up in New Delhi, 27 years of my life, and then Ireland happened. So yeah, master's in MPhil from JNU, after which I briefly taught in IIT for 2 years, part-time. I was teaching English to the undergrads there. Then yeah, I worked again very briefly for like 4 or 5 months with the UN. I would have continued that work if the PhD thing hadn't sort of like materialized. And yeah, and I did my bachelor's from Delhi University. So yeah, that's about me.
thank you for lovely introduction, Neha. I have a couple of things from your introduction which I like to know more. Let's jump to your PhD then.
Okay.
How you got inside the PhD at UCD, and how you thought about, like, let's do, like, because you have done masters in JNU, so there was option to do PhD in JNU or
Yeah.
somewhere else in India. Why you thought, let's get inside PhD in Ireland?
Yeah. So I did masters and MPhil. So first was the
Okay.
entrance for masters, then was the entrance for MPhil, and MPhil in JNU is a combined program जहाँ PhD already होती है. So after you
Okay.
complete your 1 year there, you have the option to either do another year of MPhil or just directly go into your PhD. So when I was actually, you can say, enrolled into a PhD in JNU, but for me, what had happened was कि I had spent 5 years in JNU, right?
Hmm.
That is the best that I knew India has to offer to me, right?
Correct.
Which to me, then I was like, I just want something more out of my life. So I started applying elsewhere. Plus, I was also a bit sick of Delhi. मतलब
Hmm.
now I really miss that. Like now I'm like, please, कोई मेरे को teleport कर दो. But at that point, I'm talking when I was 27. So yeah, so then I just thought that I want something different out of my life. So I was applying for several places. I never wanted to go to the US, right? So
Hmm.
that was never an option. So primarily I was applying to Germany,
Hmm.
UK and Ireland, right? And PhD, अगर तुम्हारे पास पैसा नहीं है या कम है, तो it's not something that you raise a loan for,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's very stupid to raise a loan for PhD, and it's extremely stupid to self-fund a PhD. I think. I'm sorry, that's my personal
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
So for me, another constraint was a scholarship. Like, where will a scholarship come from? So I was
Hmm.
applying for several scholarships. UCD happened to be one of the places for which there was a Government of Ireland scholarship that I had applied for. And then there was another Commonwealth scholarship that I applied for in UK, right?
Okay.
That didn't work out for some reason, right? Interview hua tha, but I don't know what the issue was. I didn't get it. So GI was funding 1 year in which they were paying the tuition fees for 1 year and giving me stipend for 1 year. Second, third year was sort of blank. I had no idea.
Hmm.
I had no
Hmm.
money. But when I came here, I applied for more scholarships, and यहाँ पे there is this scholarship called IRC, so Irish Research Council. That's
Okay.
the scholarship that pays for most of humanities and also for a lot of science projects, right? Or I would say that's the only scholarship that allows for a non-EU person to apply for the scholarship.
Okay.
So there are many scholarships available, but you may not be eligible for them because of your nationality. So yeah, so that's the scholarship that I applied for, and for my second, third year, that's the one that I got. So yeah, so my decision for a PhD in UCD was very much based by the fact that I got funding for UCD.
Hmm. Correct. So what you're saying is when you're coming from India, you got scholarship for only 1 year, but after arriving here, you got another scholarship for 2 years,
They were like
and
different funding opportunities that came. I applied for different applications and eventually something worked out. It could have been really bad. It could have been like I would have to pay for second or third year had that not worked out. But thankfully, ho gaya
everything.
to ठीक है.
Yeah. So now I like to ask this, like if even if you don't got get scholarship, how much it was costing, like in rough numbers for PhD in UCD, like any rough numbers is fine.
Rough नहीं, I'll give you exact. It was 13,000 euros per annum.
Okay.
PhD usually 3 साल में complete करना is near impossible. So
Correct.
3.5 is what it took me. 4 साल
Okay.
लेकिन लगा के चलना चाहिए. So
And so if it is getting increased, then you have to pay more 13,000 for last year.
yeah, so it was like
Oh,
roughly 50,000 or more.
50,000, 50,000 euros, and you got all this scholarship.
This is just ये जो 50,000 euros मैंने बोला, that's just the fees that you're paying. I'm not talking about the living expenses or anything.
Yeah, this is just to call it the university fee which you are paying for PhD for 4 years,
Yeah. 4 years, yeah.
and this all got funded from some or other councils for you.
Yes, I had to pay roughly 8,000 euros, but
Okay,
other everything else was funded, yeah.
funded. So you are congratulations for that. First of all, you got something big. It is good number, and yeah, you got all funded. That's really great. Yeah, and we are saying ki other than this, there are living expenses and all things keep happening for like as a your normal student as well. So you have to pay your rent, your groceries, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's come to point where we can discuss about how, like I heard in India and in Ireland as well, you get some stipend per month.
Yeah.
So can we discuss around that? How much was it and all?
So for the first one, remember I said I got the Government of Ireland scholarship, right?
Hmm.
Government
Hmm.
of Ireland gives 10,000 euros for your fees, जो वो
Hmm.
directly उसे को देते हैं, ठीक है? तो तुम्हारी
Okay.
fees माफ हो जाती है. And then they give another 10,000 euros for your living expenses, which is the stipend. This is per annum that I'm talking about, right?
Okay.
Which may have now increased to 12,000 euros. I think I'm talking about 2019, right?
Yeah.
So now I've increased it slightly. For IRC, it's the same. It's roughly 16,000 euros that they give per annum. So you're getting 1,500 euros per month, roughly,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Which is like an okay figure if it's not much, but it like
Yeah.
kind of pays your bills and rents. So that.
Yeah. You don't have to like secure somewhere else money. You don't have to ask money from bank or something. It is just confirming your needs,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and you. But it is good amount, and so you can
Yeah.
expect around 1,200 to 1,400 stipend in the UCD.
1,500. This is again, UCD is not the one giving me a stipend.
Yeah, yeah.
IRC is the one giving me a stipend. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Of UCD's internal scholarships first only applied to science students. That's another like distinction. Depends कि तुम कौन सी discipline में PhD कर रहे हो. Or second, they only applied to like EU or like the EEU
Comfortable,
thing.
but what are the job opportunities after PhD in
Of course.
Ireland?
So usually when someone does a PhD, they've spent so much time within the academia. That's what the
Hmm.
term is, that it is only a sensible thing to continue in academia and go and teach, right? But
Correct.
what's happening is within the whole education sector, and it's not just Ireland, it's also India, because a lot of my other friends are also facing the exact same thing. And the US, everywhere, it's the
Hmm.
same. So there's something called tenure, right?
Hmm.
Tenure is कि तुम्हें they're appointing you as assistant professor full time, ठीक है?
Hmm.
जो पहले होता था. So now they've stopped doing that. What they do is they bring contractual workers, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Per semester, your contract is renewed, right?
Hmm.
In that way, the university benefits because they don't have to pay for the in-between duration when the college is not on,
There.
right?
Hmm.
But it's really not good for the teachers or lecturers because there's no job security. So whenever
Hmm.
you're applying for a job, for a loan or a house loan or a car loan or anything, they'll be like, what's your job situation, right? Your job situation pays you fine. Like in Ireland, if you're tutoring, you
Hmm.
get in UCD, if you're tutoring, you used to get around 32 euros per hour, which is good enough. It's not
Which is
bad,
good enough.
right?
Hmm.
right? If you're
Yeah.
lecturing, you get 80 euros. It's fine.
Hmm.
It's okay, right? But the thing is that you don't know कि अगले साल क्या होगा. You have the job
There is a money, but there is no what I can say
security.
sense of security. Job security is not there. So you used to
Security.
get 32 euros for
That is not
tutoring and 80 euros as a professor, but you don't know till when
as a
the
lecturer.
contract is extended. You can just get
Yeah,
expired, it
it's just
can't get renewed. Hmm.
yeah. I don't know next semester where am I, right? So for
Correct, correct.
me, that was yeah working.
So you are feeling like I want to just ask this. There are good opportunities in Ireland post PhD for jobs. That like is it correct or it is like a very much?
Depends what your PhD is in. If your PhD is in humanities, it's not. It's not great.
Okay, it's not that great.
It's not.
You have to
If
struggle bit to. So,
it's sciences, it's amazing.
thank you very much for lovely podcast, Neha. Thank you very much for joining and sharing huge amount of information around PhD and such stuff. Hopefully, it will help many students from India who's aspiring from PhD outside or India. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.